everyone. Welcome back to the Content Club podcast with myself, Tina Calder. So we're really plying on with these, and we've got loads of different ones in the bag now. So we've got everything from why is storytelling vital for your business. We've got top tips for using imagery. We've got using positive language, and we have things you need for a list posting and other such podcasts. So please do get a look at the channel and check out some of the other episodes. So we're looking at this one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our 7th podcast in this series, and today I want to look at the European Union Copyright Directive. That's Article 13. Now, you may have heard a bit about it. I found out about it from someone who I consider to be an authoritative voice when it comes to digital media, marketing, and literally anything that surrounds kind of the legislation and stuff like that. So Christine Watson from Watson & Co. Chartered Marketing called me up recently and was like, have you heard of this? Do you know about it? And to be honest, I hadn't heard a thing. It's been bumbling on now for a wee while, but I hadn't actually come across it. So I do have to say a big thank you to Christine for highlighting this to me. So basically, Article 13 of the European Union Copyright Directive is a piece of proposed legislation that, if it's implemented, it could have massive unintended consequences for content creators right across Europe and beyond. So the legislation, which comes from a place of really quite good intention, aims to protect original creators and their copyright much better than they're being protected currently. So it will make platforms like YouTube, Reddit, Patreon, Medium, all of those more liable if they allow content that is in breach of copyright to be uploaded to their sites. And it's not just the content distribution platforms that will suffer. Social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, you name it, they're also going to be affected. So I suppose the big question is why. The idea behind the legislation is that any content that could be in breach of copyright will have to be taken down. And that we're talking like historically content that is sitting up there on YouTube, for example, that YouTube can't prove that they have copyright permission for. So this could affect millions of pieces of content created all across Europe and content outside Europe that is distributed in a European territory. So a lot of the content may not be in breach of copyright itself, as I've just said, but because the platform or the company hosting them will now be made liable rather than just the person who uploaded it, they will now begin to err on the side of caution and will likely remove anything that they cannot 100% prove is legit. So we're talking from video and the music to imagery, more. No content creator will be unaffected by this. So it is important to really think about, what can I do now to start preparing for this in case it goes through. So it's important to be clear for me that I actually agree that tougher legislation is needed to protect creators. In fact, there's nothing I hate more than seeing websites, social media profiles, pages, influencers, media brands, individuals, all building their audience on the back of someone else's hard work. So you know the ones. They share other people's content, but in most cases they either don't credit it or they think that this small untagged credit without permission is enough. And then there are even worse scenarios where they're not even sharing the original content from the original creator's own site or platform. So what they're doing is they're downloading it and they're uploading it to train the algorithms, to make the algorithms on the social media platforms believe that it is their own content. This, in my opinion, is absolutely wrong. And if you've had your content used in this manner, and you've felt, oh, that's great, I got my credit, I got my tag, you want to have a wee think about just what the implications are for you. Not only have you only received a credit, if you're lucky, you will be tagged in it and people will be able to click through. But the reality is that most of those people won't click through. They'll consume the content, they'll like the content, they'll engage with the content on the platform that it's on, and you might not ever see the benefit of that. So what I would do is I would ask yourself, What do I need out of this? What do I want out of this? Do I want money? Do I want fame? Do I want credit? What do you need and what do you want? And they can be very, very different things. You know, I'm more than happy for people to talk to me and republish blog posts that I've written or whatever on their own platforms, as long as I'm getting the right credit, as long as my call to action is included in there. But there are times when some people, they're just building a brand, they're just building their, they've maybe got some brand awareness in the content, and therefore, you know, they don't care who uses it. So do think about, if you're a content creator and your content is being used by other people, how is it being used, how that affects you, and whether or not that's being used in a way that bolsters your I suppose, your goals and your needs and your aims. So it is wrong for people to download your content and use it without your permission, even if they are accrediting you. At Excalibur Press, like, we're really strict about copyright, but it would seem that not every content creation agency is. In the last 6 months alone, I have heard of 3 different presenters at different talks and events telling the audience how they've either breached copyright themselves or dismissing it as something that you can apologise later for. Oh my goodness, this is just not on. And it really winds me up and it makes me quite angry. And actually, I make a note every single time that I'm at one of those events. I don't do anything with that note, but I do think it's important for me as a content creator, and also as a trainer, as a workshop leader, as someone who is podcasting about content creation, and who owns the Content Club, that it's important for me to just see what people are saying out there, why they're saying it, and what messages they're giving. So be aware, it is never, ever, ever okay to breach copyright. Simple. It's just not okay, ever. Now, I'm not going to say that I've never got it wrong. Of course I have. But it wasn't because of ignorance of the law. It was usually being given misleading information, maybe my clients not understanding what copyright was. And so I do think that maybe content creators who are maybe new to the market, it might be worth just reading up a little on copyright law, both in the UK and maybe in Europe as well. You know, don't let Brexit stop you, okay? Just because Brexit is looming, or whatever we want to call it, it doesn't mean that you're going to be safe from this. You know, this is something that is going to affect you, Brexit or not. So what's being done about Article 13? Well, there's currently a campaign which seems to be spearheaded quite a bit by YouTube and their hashtag Save Your Internet campaign. You can find details on this at youtube.com/saveyourinternet. That's youtube.com/saveyourinternet. There's a great video there with one of the guys from YouTube just chatting through what Article 13 is, and what they want to do about it as well. You know, regardless of whether it comes into effect or not, the onus really is on you, the content creator, to always ensure that you're creating content that is within the confines of the law. I suppose if you want to find some more information, if you go to copyrightservice.co.uk, that's copyrightservice.co.uk, and you will find lots and lots of information in there about copyright. What I would do as well is I would maybe chat to some other content creators, some marketeers, journalists. You know, historically get quite a bit of training in copyright law. Certainly that's where the bulk of my knowledge comes from. And I do think, you know, asking people, you know, just double check. You know, don't be afraid to ask advice from your peers and maybe mentors and other. So YouTube have also created an FAQ section. It's on that website that I just told you, youtube.com/saveyourinternet, and it's to give you more information. In it, they said that the status of Article 13 is that the European Parliament have voted to move forward with it on September 12th. However, the video distribution site also confirms that it's not yet law, and they have said, and I quote, "The language is being drafted and revised in EU trilogue negotiations between representatives from European Commission, Parliament and Council." YouTube believes this language could be finalised by the end of the year, and EU member states may have up to 2 years to make the directive international law. So what changes? According to YouTube, who are leading the way in this campaign to amend the proposed legislation, they say it would eliminate the existing notice and takedown system currently in place to protect rights holders and platforms. This would make platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Dailymotion, Reddit, Snapchat, all of them liable at the moment of upload for any copyright infringement in uploads from users, creators and artists. YouTube go on to say that this in turn would mean that platforms including YouTube, would be forced to block the vast majority of uploads from Europe and views in Europe for content uploaded elsewhere, given the uncertainty and complexity of copyright ownership. So you can read more of those FAQs. There's lots of great information there. youtube.com/saveyourinternet. You can read the full document of the proposed legislation. There is a link in that youtube.com Save Your Internet, but I also have a blog post on this at contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk. That's contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk, and you can find a link to the proposed legislation there. I just want to kind of clarify, this is my understanding of Article 13. I'm well open to people dropping me a line to report an amendment or maybe something I should add or something I've got wrong. I'd be happy to revise or maybe do an updated podcast. We also do have the blog post at contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk, and we will try to update that as time goes. I mean, as always, please do get in touch. Let me know the kinds of things that you want to chat about, the kinds of things that you want me to look into. I'm more than happy to take calls from anyone who has some questions on content and copyright and stuff like that. I am by no means an expert. I am simply someone who has been doing this for 20 years, and I do not have all the answers. But what I can do is I can help direct you and give you some basic information and tell you some of the legislation that we would work to. And again, as always, we need a call to action. Hey guys, if you need content creators, copywriters or a publicist, please do give us a call. My number's 07 982 628911 and my email address is tina@excaliburpress.co.uk. You can find me on Instagram at Tina Belfast. You can find me on Twitter at Tina Calder, and you can find me on Facebook, and that's /Tina Calder Journal. Of course, you can get onto the website contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk. Every blog post on there contains a link to our Content Club Facebook group. We'd love you to join that as well. So until the next one, thanks very much for listening in today. All the best. Bye.